Hello and welcome to Philosophy Vibe, the channel where we discuss and debate different philosophical ideas. Today we're going to be looking into a very interesting thought experiment, and that is the brain in a vat. Great. So, the brain in a vat thought experiment is a scenario used to highlight how uncertain our knowledge is and ultimately lead one to philosophical skepticism and even solipsism. In this video, I will be explaining the brain in a vat scenario, and then we will debate this to see if it really is a good argument in favour of skepticism. Okay, so explain the scenario. Very well. So then, imagine everything you perceive is not in fact real. Everything around you, the whole external world, all the people in your life, everything is fake, including your own body. In fact, all you are is a disembodied brain in a vat. A mad scientist has your brain in a vat in his laboratory. This mad scientist has connected wires to your brain, fitted them onto all your neurons, and is projecting this reality onto your brain. You then see and experience this world and this reality, but really, everything you see is not real, just stimuli on your brain from this mad scientist's computer, and in reality, all you are is this brain floating in a vat with a bunch of wires connected. Your entire world, your entire reality is false. Wow, quite a dark thought experiment. Yes, but think about it. You could never conclusively know that you are not a brain in a vat. If you are a brain in a vat, then the reality the mad scientist is projecting is all you know. You think that is life. So, because you can't prove this is not the case, you cannot then rule it out. Meaning, any knowledge you attain in your life, in your reality, will always have a question mark. When you see a tree or when you see the sunrise, it can always be questioned, is this really real? Or is this just a projection from the mad scientist onto my envatted brain? As such, all knowledge is then thrown into doubt. Nothing can be certain. The whole external world can indeed be a huge fake projection, and so we become philosophical skeptics, never truly believing we have full concrete knowledge. Fascinating. I should note that the brain in a vat has taken a few different forms over the years, most notably René Descartes' evil demon theory in his meditations, and more recently simulation theory has been seen as a type of brain in a vat theory. We have done videos on these, so do check them out. So then, does the brain in a vat scenario give one good grounds in becoming a philosophical skeptic? I think it's a really interesting, fun, sci-fi type theory, and yes, it does have some merit to it. Philosophers have always questioned how real the external world is. However, I don't think this is enough to render all truth unattainable. I would in fact like to challenge the idea that we cannot prove we are not brains in vats. I actually think the statement, "I am a brain in a vat," can be demonstrated to be false. Really? Yes. How so? Okay, so here I would like to bring up Hilary Putnam's response to the brain in a vat thought experiment by focusing on causal connection. What's that? Right, so for words or ideas to have meaning, they need to be connected to what they represent. Meaning is not intrinsic to a word or an idea, so there needs to be a causal connection. Putnam gives the example of an ant crawling on a patch of sand. Imagine that the ant's footprints, by chance, end up carving out an image of Winston Churchill. Now, this looks exactly like Winston Churchill. However, we wouldn't say that the ant meant to do this. There was no intention here. It was pure luck. And the reason we know there is no intention is because there is no causal connection. The ant does not know who Winston Churchill is. The ant has never seen Churchill, has no idea of Churchill. As such, there is no causal connection. So we would not say that the ant drew Winston Churchill. The ant merely made some squiggles of which we see Churchill. Yes, I understand. Language is the same. Imagine there is a twin Earth, exactly the same as Earth. However, on twin Earth, what they refer to as cats, we refer to as dogs. So when someone on twin Earth says cat, they are not referring to this. The causal connection is to something that looks like this. The intention and meaning is completely different. I understand, but what does this have to do with the brain in a vat? Well, because of this causal connection, if someone was actually a brain in a vat, if they uttered the words, "I am a brain in a vat," they are talking about a brain as they understand it, and a vat as they understand it, as in, they are referring to a brain in the simulated world and a vat in the simulated world. They can only refer to the causal connections of the fake world they perceive. They have no understanding or experience of the real world. If you were a brain in a vat, you can only reference the fake world. You have no causal connection to anything beyond that. You are not talking about a real brain or a real vat, whatever that would be. You have no relationship with the real world. Your reference is to a fake simulated world, and therefore something that is false, something that doesn't actually exist. Your causal connection is to an image that a mad scientist has produced. So then, if a brain in a vat was to say, "I am a brain in a vat," then this statement is false, as they are only referring to their understanding of brains and vats, which is simulated and therefore a falsehood. Likewise, if you are not a brain in a vat and you say, "I am a brain in a vat," this statement is false, as you are not a brain in a vat. Either way, whatever way you look at it, the statement, "I am a brain in a vat," is false. This was Putnam's point. The statement itself is incoherent. If a brain in a vat says it, it is a falsehood. If a non-brain in a vat says it, it is still a falsehood. That's an interesting argument, however, I don't think it proves that one is not a brain in a vat. Really? Well, yes. This is just a case of semantics. It's down to language and meaning, but ultimately it doesn't render the possibility that one's reality is entirely projected any less likely. And even with Putnam's criticism, it doesn't even address a newly vatted brain. That's to say, someone born in the real world and captured by the mad scientist and had their brain extracted and put in the vat. This is still a huge problem for Putnam's argument. How is it a problem? Because the newly vatted brain has experience of the real world, right? They had a relationship with it. So when they use their language, there is a causal connection. So if a newly vatted brain says, "I am a brain in a vat," they do know what they're talking about, as they have had experience of the real world. So Putnam's argument wouldn't even cover this scenario. Okay, let's suppose you think you are a brain in a vat. Then you would say the mad scientist lives in the real world and has invatted you. But what is to stop the scientist thinking that they are a brain in a vat and they have been captured by another mad scientist, and this scientist also thinks that they are a brain in a vat, and so on and so on? Essentially, there needs to be a base reality, right? There needs to be a real reality where the brains are being invatted. So why not this one? Why must you be the brain in a vat? Why can't you think this is the true reality? I'm not arguing that it isn't. I'm just arguing that we don't know. And that's the point. We don't know if this is the real world or if we are brains in a vat with a simulated reality. And it's because we can't rule it out that we become skeptics. It's because it cannot be proven false that we must question all our knowledge, as there is a possibility that nothing we perceive is real. If you enjoyed this discussion, then I recommend you check out the Philosophy Vibe Metaphysics paperback anthology, available on Amazon. This is a compilation of all our metaphysics video scripts all into one book. A great read and a great study guide, and no doubt you'll find it really interesting. Philosophy of mind is covered, so is philosophy of perception, free will, determinism, and more. The links to Amazon are below, and all book sales really help out this channel. But that's all the time we have for now. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the vibe. And what does everyone else think? Are you a brain in a vat? Should you be skeptical on all knowledge in this reality? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure you check out our videos on simulation theory and solipsism, as they are very closely related to the brain in a vat theory. If you did enjoy this video, please like and share. And for more philosophical debates, please subscribe to the channel. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye bye.